Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, March 25th, and I am Terry Kimford, and we are taking part of the self-distancing protocol that's not even hard to even believe right now, but we're doing that. So I'm trying to have a little fun and share some fun things that we are doing. Oh, I just touched my face. Today, I am making something called pasties, and they are something my mom made. I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and they are a staple up there. And my mom made the very best pasties in the world. So did my grandma. And I make them not as pretty as theirs, but they taste really, really good. So I had a lot of people saying, well, what the heck are pasties? So I'm going to explain that to you. I have my cookbook here. This is called A Legacy of Love. My mom, before she passed away in '94, she started writing down all her recipes. And she wanted each of us kids to have her recipes, the way she made things. And she started doing that and doing multiple copies, and it was a huge job. And unfortunately, she passed away before she got that project done. So my siblings and I produced a book. And you can see this is like my most well-worn book in the world. It's dog-eared, and it's got flour and sugar and everything on it. But it's the #1 book I go to make things. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make my crust. And the crust needs to chill for at least a half hour. So I'm going to mix up 2 batches of crust because I promised my kids pasties for supper. And I need to make 10 to 12 of them so that everybody gets some plus leftovers, because that's what they want. And I'm going to drive to their houses and have them come to the car and get their pasties for dinner. So I gotta get going. It's actually 20 to 2, I better hurry up. So the recipe I'm using today is called Perfect Pie Crust, and it is from my sister-in-law, Pat. And when we did this cookbook, everybody submitted recipes, even the little kids. We have a dirt soup recipe and some really fun ones. But this is Pat's recipe, and it's called Perfect Pie Crust, and it really is. So this is what I'm going to make today. Now, you can do all this by hand. I am lucky enough to have a food processor, so I will be doing my crust in the food processor. So I'm hoping I got everything ready. I'm not used to doing things ahead of time. I'm kind of a fly by the seat of your pants person, but here's what I'm gonna do. So I've got my food processor and I've got flour. This is where we're gonna start. Just regular old unbleached flour. And I need 4 cups for one recipe, and one recipe will make 5 to 6 pasties. And basically a pasty is a crust wrapped around cubed potatoes, hamburger, onion, and some salt and pepper. That's it. I mean, that's totally it. Some people, swear by other ingredients in their pasties, but that is not the way we made them. So I always have to make them exactly like my mother did. So I use 80-20 ground beef because my mom taught me that if you buy such lean ground beef, it's not as flavorful. And so I buy the 80-20, and then I drain off the fat, and stuff. So it's much more flavorful. And once you take the fat out, it's about the same anyway. So in my food processor, I put 4 cups of flour. I'm gonna do an even tablespoon of sugar. And all her recipes were a handful of this and a dib of that. So they're not precise. But this is how I'm following general rules here, and 2 teaspoons of salt. So I've got that in my food processor. Gonna put the cover on, and I'm just gonna, I need to plug it in. Sorry, that would help, wouldn't it? Here I am thinking I'm all organized. All right, get back here, plug her in. Well, that would help, right? So once you get it going, you just pulse And all we're doing is really mixing those dry ingredients together there. Now I am going to cut in my fat, and I am using vegetable shortening. And I know this is kind of old school. People use different things now, but this is the recipe and it's the bomb, so I'm using vegetable shortening. And it's 1 3/4 cup of vegetable shortening, also known as Crisco or something like that. My mom used lard, real lard. And I don't know where you can even, I guess you can buy it, but I don't find it very often. I should look that up, because honestly, that's all she did. She used lard. And it might be even better, healthier than vegetable shortening. So anyway, got my 1 3/4 cups of shortening there. Cover back on. And I am going to just start processing, pulsing. And all you want to do is get that shortening incorporated in there. You don't need a real perfect mixture, but you do want to get it mixed in, and it'll start getting kind of crumbly. Now, some of my shortening's in a huge ball. This is why I didn't double this batch, because this is barely fitting in my food processor. So I have to stir it up just a little. It's starting, but you need to stir it up so it has some room. And then when I get done with this first batch, I'll be doing a second batch and then putting it to chill. And I'll come back later and show you how we assemble pasties. There we go. Now my shortening is going in a little better. Just don't process it too much. You want it all mixed up, but not totally obliterated. So I still have, just taking it from the bottom here, I still have some lumps of shortening. Sometimes I mix half butter and half shortening. Especially if I'm making like pie crust, I like that combination. These are a savory meal, so I'm just kind of doing the vegetable shortening with this one today. All right, I think that is pretty darn good. Okay, next up, I am putting in a small cup, breaking 1 egg, and I have a 1/2 cup of water, and I need a tablespoon of vinegar with this part. Your water should be really cold, and I just took it out of the fridge, so mine is pretty cold. Colder the better. You want this to get firm so that when you start rolling it out, it rolls out nicely. So you just take a fork, mix that all together. And I am going to slowly add that to my flour mixture. So we'll get it going there. Just gonna put it on steady and pour it in and try not to make a mess. And I am making a mess, so I'm going to just do it this way. I'm just dumping it in. That works. Like I said, I'm not a real precise chef. And you're gonna say, oh my gosh, this is way too wet. And it seems that way at first, but once you get it mixed, it'll be just fine. Honestly, I don't even always do it in the food processor. A lot of times I just do it by hand, because I think sometimes this overdoes it. Hey, today I think I'm gonna do one each way. And I will let you know what I found out. Because this is looking pretty mushy. And my food processor, oh, I put the thing in, sorry. And it's making a dough, but it's really processing it too much. So, bad example. I'm not gonna do this again. But, actually looks okay. So, there's my dough. I'm going to dump it out onto a saran wrap, fold it all up, pop it in the fridge for about a half hour so it chills, and then I will come back and show you how we make the filling and make the pasties. Talk to you soon.